All right. We're getting into it. We're getting into the good. We're getting into the astrology. We're going to get into the tarot. And we're going to first just start talking about these boundaries and where this time is being spent. Where are you spending your time? Before I get into the cards to help us with the transits for this week, really the overall theme of this week, this is post-Eclipse. And what I really honed in on as the overall theme of this week is, where is your time being spent? And is it truly in your best interest? So that is where we are at. And then how do you set appropriate boundaries through that theme, through where this time is being spent, through the best interest of your time and your space and your energy? And how do we set those healthy boundaries around it? And this really gets broken up into, the eclipse was an intense ending energy with it being the final eclipse in Scorpio. And a lot of things could have been ending, a lot of things could have been opening up. No matter which way that happened, whatever change is occurring in your life right now, habits are going to have to be changed along with it. So, for example, if this eclipse brought in a brand new partnership, a brand new relationship, let's just call that romantic, because the romance theme is coming out this Twitchy Tuesdays. So let's call it a romantic relationship. But you're also working on your business. You're also working on your solopreneurship. You're also working on X, right? Whatever the additional thing is. How is a new relationship going to have to change your habits? Because now you've got to enter in and factor in more time. Where's your time being spent? And is it in your best interest? And if it's not, how do you navigate that? How do you work through that? So, changing of habits based on the changes you're going through. And even if this eclipse, let's say, didn't like completely change your whole world, but it's changing the world around you. Maybe your family member is going through something. Maybe a best friend is going through something. Maybe your partner is going through something. Maybe just the location that you're in is going through something. As the world changes around you, as the world is going through something, how do your habits need to change based upon that? So an example of that would be, let's say, we're going to talk about Uranus. Look, Uranus in Taurus, Sun conjunct today. It happened today. Energy live today. And, Uranus has done, especially with that Saturn mixture, has done quite a few things when it comes to supply chain and being able to get certain items. So, for example, we had that baby formula shortage last year. So how did your habits, if you were, let's say, you were a parent, you had a baby that you were feeding formula to, how did your habits have to change around what the world is going through, which is a baby formula shortage? So another way to look at those things, whether it's that personal, you're going through something, or whether it's around you. And a lot of this all starts with what you consume. This was the other download that I got really heavy, is what are you consuming? Because that is where more than likely you're spending a lot of your time or your mental energy. Mercury is in retrograde in Taurus. He is slow. This whole year is Earth sign retrogrades. And while I get it, he's going to be in one of his home signs, it is still Earth energy. So there is a pause. There is a little bit of grounding that needs to happen. It's a little bit slower than if he was in air or fire. And even, quite frankly, a little bit of water, depending upon which water he's in. So it all kind of starts with what you're consuming, because what you consume matters. Shopping, media, socials, friends, family, work, Twitchy Tuesdays, even this. This is something that you are consuming. Are you in a space where what you consume empowers you? Where you're spending your time in consumption empowers you? When triggered, how are you reacting? Because sometimes, and I know this is true for me, I'm actually going to start pulling some cards here. I know this is true for me as well, is sometimes when I'm going through and what I'm consuming, whether that's reading it on social media, whether that's watching a YouTube video, whether that's even watching a show, though things can come into my purview and I'm like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that. Hold on. Let me take a beat. Let me take a moment. But that is all time. That is all energy to do all of that. So when triggered, how are you able to react? So finish shuffling these. We are good. Let's see what kind of cards pop out as we continue to talk through this conversation. So are you able to listen to others' perspectives? Because a lot of what gets triggered is somebody said something, or somebody did something, or somebody had this on their feed. Are you able to listen to others' perspectives and know that you can have a different perspective than them and still enjoy their company? Still not like immediately unfollow. And maybe you do need to unfollow right away. Ooh, let's see what popped out with that. The Chariot. The Chariot. What changes quickly? What are you changing very quickly here? Right? When you have these other perspectives that come in, when you are triggered, how are you reacting? How are you moving forward? How are you taking that? And this isn't something like, again, quick Chariot moving energy. These are instantaneous reactions. This is that instant combustion. This is not the, okay, let me sit and think about that. As we begin to move forward, the timelines are moving forward quicker and quicker and quicker. Also Chariot energy. And as we continue to have these openings, have this more forward movement, Venus and Mars headed into Leo. And as we begin to kind of continue to have that energy and that action pushed forward, things get very quick. So how are you reacting in that moment, in that split second? There is, for this week, another really high key point. There is only Pluto and the moon in air. So there are no other planets transiting air signs right now, only Pluto and the moon in air. So, whoa. Oh, Hermit came out. So let's see. So if Pluto and the moon are in air this week, so it's more about what does the themes or the things that you consume do for you? And that is a introspective question with the Hermit. You are going to need to go in and figure out those answers, right? You need to, like, these are the questions that are being posed this week that are, as the sun conjuncts Uranus today, that could be shaken up, that could be something like this gets brought into your mind or into your presence, and you're like, oh, I need to think about that. But don't take too long. This is, again, Hermit energy likes to take a little bit of time, but with the Hermit and the Chariot, think about it, internalize it, react, right? Go forward, take action. Chariot and Hermit together. It's that balance. It's being able to feminine into it and then masculine action based. What are you going to do about that? The other question that came up is, where does it loosen your power? So as Pluto and the moon are in these air signs this week, and these things like, what are these, thinking through what these things and what you're consuming, where your time is being spent, how better boundaries you need to have, where are you losing with the Pluto influence? Where are you losing your power by not doing that? And that can be a great way. Again, we talk a lot about values. We've talked a lot about the Queen of Cups. We've talked a lot about, through Venus's, and through Mars and Gemini and all of this, through this first half of the year, reassessing those value systems, really getting deep. This is a Taurian heavy next couple of weeks. There is a lot of energy focused on Taurus. And it's getting back into what serves you. Where does things happen? What do you know as the Queen of Cups? What do you know and feel the most strongly about? And that is your filter. So when Pluto is asking, and this moon in air is asking you to think about, how do your boundaries need to be set? How do your habits need to change? How are you reacting when things happen? How is this losing your power? You can go back to your values and check in with them. You can go back to this Queen of Cups and check in with her. How is this happening? All right. Where am I losing my ability to stand in my values? Where am I losing my ability to continue on with my goals? Where am I losing my ability and my power to bring forward the things that I know I want to bring forward into this world? My destiny, my path. Welcome to the week. That's where we're at.